We're up on camera now.
Yes. Well, Brad Stevens joining us now. And Brad, I had said at the top of the show, it feels like this Celtics team is almost assembling the Avengers. It feels like, with just the Jrue Holiday trade and getting him here. Walk us through, how did you get that deal done yesterday?
Well, it was a long process. I don't think it was obviously one day. Listen, when you pay the price we paid, right? And the picks are the picks, but specifically Rob and Malcolm and Rob, who we've seen grow up here, and that's a hard thing to do. So to get an idea of what they ultimately want, what's feasible, and then how it, portends to work when you put it all together. You're trying to weigh all that stuff. But I just don't think you can pass up on an opportunity to get a guy like Jrue. As I said, just in my media session, I think when you add in what we all know he can do on the court with the kind of person and teammate he is, just a good fit for us.
I got a quick one. Yep. So when he got traded to Portland, is that when you first picked up? Because he wasn't staying in Portland. We all knew he wasn't staying in Portland. Was that when you were like, hey, we got to try to do whatever we can to get him? Is that how that process went?
I've known Joe Cronin for a long time. We've talked several times over the past few years and have had really transparent conversations about, what we think of each other's teams and what we and know what guys are like. When it became more of a question of where Dame might go, I think you started to think about, okay, who would end up going to Portland that they may not keep as part of their group. And so when you start doing the math on the money around the league, you can limit it to maybe 10 to 15 guys. Mm-hmm. And so we were having those discussions in case something came up. Didn't know how it would all shake out. Have tried to get Jrue Holiday on the Celtics since I've been the coach. I know I would go into Danny's office every year and be like, hey, can we get Jrue Holiday somehow? And so when that hit, yes, the whole office walks in and says, is there a way to get Jrue Holiday here? And so then we just start working on it. And it's hard because there's a lot of good teams, a lot of that have a lot of great assets and great players, and you may get them, you may not.
It's also probably hard that it happened the day before training camp starts, right? I'm just curious, you've been in that coaching seat. How does it shift things at all for Joe when he's maybe planning to have Rob and Malcolm here yesterday, and then it switches going into today? Well,
I think the good news is as you prepare for a season, you prepare for a couple of different ways of playing. You prepare for being a little bit bigger, and you prepare for playing a little bit smaller. And you know that in the course of a game, no matter how you start a game or how you sub, that you're probably going to be smaller or longer, right? And so you're really prepared for both. Mm-hmm. And then Jrue is an easy guy to assimilate into a group. He can guard 4 positions. He's tough. He's smart. He's a good passer. He wants to win. This isn't I don't think this is as hard to get a guy to move into a group as some people might be. And he knows, he has familiarity with some staff and, played with Jason in the Olympics. And so there's a lot of, we're hopeful that it's a smooth transition.
What I liked about the move was it gives us a true point guard for the first time. I mean, I know Marcus played point, and I know Derek played some point, but I feel like they're more scoring point guards. And I don't think Marcus was the traditional type of point guard where he can organize. He did a great job, but I feel like at times, the last 2 years, we had organization problems where late in games, we weren't as organized as we should be. Guys weren't in the right space. And then the other thing on top of that, and I was telling them earlier, I feel that he will be able to not only organize, but get our guys, Jason and Jalen, the ball with a live dribble in scoring positions, as opposed to them coming down court, having to fight downhill on a high pick and roll. I think it just opens up everything for us. The spacing on the court is going to be it's going to be hard for people to guard them, especially when we have the right.
Well,
I hope so.
I think, the game has changed so much, right? So when we talk about traditional point guards, there's teams have played, trying to be bigger all around the board and be able to switch as much as possible defensively, trying to put as many playmakers on the floor as possible. Obviously, everybody's got to be able to shoot so that you can, they have to guard out to the three-point line and now beyond. We've played with Jason bringing the ball up as much as we've played with Peyton bringing the ball up, right? So it's really who gets us in there probably isn't as big to us as making sure we're all in the right spots, organized and ready to attack with threats, everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we've had a really good team. Like those guys that you just met, they're really good. But we think also Jrue's really good. So hopefully the way that it all fits together, the way it all works, the way they all accentuate each other is good. I do think that everybody talks about, and rightfully so, our two young wings, and Jason and Jalen, but when you start looking at what Derek and Jrue can do together, both
scary
offensively and defensively.
Yes.
Derek's pick and roll numbers are off the charts. The way he shot the ball last year, the way he shot the ball in the last few weeks since he's been back in Boston, and the way that both he and Jrue can really chase screens and lock people down should be fun to watch.
You got anything?
Oh, I was going to go. But just with Jrue and that championship DNA, how do you see that also complementing Jalen and Jason and just helping them, having been there before?
Yeah, I think that Jrue is one of my favorite things about what I've learned about him is he just has amazing, awareness of the room. I don't think there's going to be hey, I've been to the mountaintop, this is the only way. I think he knows he's entering a really good team, and he just wants to help and add and be the best version of himself. He's just a really good person, and so to have, we're lucky. I don't know if I think we have two guys in their 30s now, right, with Al and Jrue. So we're still pretty young overall, but our guys have a lot of experience that are younger, and they've been through a lot. And, I can't think of two better guys in their 30s to lead a group.
Brad, you touched on this at the start. You've said this since you took over this role. In order to get something, you always got to give something up. You gave up a couple of really good players, guys that you loved having on this team and in this locker room. But the one in particular I want to ask about is losing Robert Williams. Yeah. You guys drafted him. You developed him. He became a great player, all defensive player. Not having him now puts obviously a little bit more pressure on the other two big men that are still here in terms of starters and all-stars in the past in Horford and Porzingis. How do you guys maneuver here now that you don't have those minutes from Rob in that rotation? What's kind of the next step of how you guys organize that?
Well, we'll see how Joe wants to start, how we're going to play as a team. I don't know how that's all going to look. I think we all have a good idea who our best players are, and so we'll see how it all fits together. But I do think that when you look at Kristaps can play with any of our other bigs, Al can play with any of our other bigs. We will try to make sure that anybody else that we fill into those roles just play with great competitiveness, can pass, have skill, and can do everything they can to accentuate those people around them. We're not looking for the next Hakeem Olajuwon, right? We don't need somebody that's going to score 30 and grab 20. Take him. Don't get me wrong. We'll take him. But
knowing you might trade for him tomorrow.
But I do think we're looking for accentuators.
So I do have this. So you were talking about the bigs and how they could play together. We know Al doesn't play on second nights or back-to-backs or whatever, right? Are you looking to add more depth in the front court at some point?
Yeah, and I will say this. I said this over in the media session. I've been lucky because in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've had so many guys in the gym. They're doing small group work. They're playing open gym. So I've seen these guys, what they look like as far as how ready they are. And really positions, point guard through center, everybody's improved. And I'm excited about that because I think that, when you're looking to fill out a team around those best players, right, it's about, again, competitiveness, skill, and just doing something small that you do well to add to the mix. So we don't I do think if we add to our front court at all, it'll be focused on just motor, right?
A
and
rebounder,
competitiveness.
shot blocker, things like that.
Motor, and that's all. If you can get a great shot blocker, that's great. A little bit easier said than done.
No doubt.
I mean, that's for sure. We're going to miss Rob in a lot of ways.
But adding Jrue, I mean, at the same time, we talk about what that him and Derek can do on the perimeter, and Jason and Jalen have both said publicly that they want to be all defensive players this year. What can you guys accomplish on the perimeter from a defensive perspective?
Well, once you lose a little bit of rim protection, you better not let them get there.
Simple as that.
We got some guys that can keep people in front of them, and so we're just going to have to be individually accountable and do it.
Can we talk to you about your son? And congratulations. I mean, what an awesome opportunity. Brady Stevens is going to Notre Dame to play for Micah Shrewsbury.
Congratulations.
Yes, unbelievable.
Yeah, he's gonna walk on. It's an unbelievable school. It's where in the state that he's from, and he's super excited. And it's probably not for me to talk about. It's his life and what he wants. But I think we all just want to see our kids happy and pushed and challenged and grow. And he thought about it and decided that's what he wanted to do. We're happy for him.
How proud are you of him?
Well, we're proud of them both. Yeah, but I just want him to be happy. That's all I really care about.
Something tells me Micah's going to have him happy out there in Notre Dame.
I hope Micah chews his ass out and sends me the video.
Well, Brad, thank you so much for your time. It's great to see you.
But I do want him happy.
He'll be happy.
Yeah, no.
He'll be happy. All right, Brad. Thank you.